So Colin's not here, so this will be the last presentation, and it's going to be a lot shorter than the other two because I was tired. So my name is Asher Glick. I've been working on a project called Briefcase for the last year. And Briefcase is a program that's very similar to Google Docs. It's an online document editor. And it allows people to, via the browser, access and modify documents that they create online and then share them with their friends, much like live editing does with Google Docs and Etherpad and probably some other things that I'm not familiar with. So at this moment in time, we have 2.5 completed applications. We have a spreadsheet that's more or less 90% functional, a code editor that works, but it has a problem when you get to 10 or 20,000 lines of code. It takes multiple seconds to highlight your syntax, so we're trying to make that faster. And then we have the beginnings of a presentation editor, which I'm still hoping by the end of this semester I'll be able to give a presentation that I made with my presentation editor. Just recently we added a few more people to our group, so we've gone from 2 to 5. And as a result, we've moved to like a GitHub organization so that everyone can feel like they're a part of the big group instead of the repo just being hosted on one person's personal GitHub page. And it makes it seem much more public as an application. Because though you're going to hear this throughout being a CS student, if you are a CS student, people will tell you that you can never finish software, right? You always have to keep working on it. Open source software you can actually finish. Once you get to the point in time that you don't have to write any more code for it, that you've gotten other people to work on your project, right? Then you're done with your code, right? And it will still progress. For example, a lot of you are familiar with Linux. Linus Torvald does not write code very much for Linux anymore. Most of the stuff he does is actually just checking it to make sure that it's good code that other people are writing. So that's one of the reasons why we're trying to switch to a more open distribution method. Hopefully we'll get a live server up that you can access from anywhere, that every one of you can start testing and breaking for us so we can figure out the world. And that'll be up on this website, briefcasedocs.com, which you don't have to remember. It's not a live website yet. And I said this would be short, so any questions? Yes?
Is there a reason you put off doing like a document editor?
Yeah, specifically the reason we put up doing a document editor is the way that we communicate with each other to have like a live sync so that you can see each other's edits while you're editing the page. Works very well for things like a spreadsheet or an application editor where each object that you're editing has like its own unique attribute, right? Like you could, if you wanted to, give each object its own unique hash and use that to address it. But with a text editor, if you wanted to do something like that, you would have to address each character with its own hash or use a different method. And we're just trying to figure that out with the code editor. And once we do that, we'll start getting into a WYSIWYG editor.